All right, folks, how you doing? Russell, TrueResults303.com. Check out the website, link in the description box, Mind, Body, Spirit, Fitness. Put in the healing back and health. Once again, when you're at the website, sign up for the free newsletter. Check out the free downloads, Setting Goals, Fitness, and Nutrition. Don't forget to follow us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Google+. The podcast is out there, True Results 303, no E, also in the description box. Coming at you today with a video on the only way they would let Jesus into your church, right? My church is the Catholic Church, so same thing. The only way they would let Jesus in my church, right? Because to tell you the truth, there are things that I think my church does. You might think the same, where it's like, I don't know if Jesus would like this, right? I think we all have that sense, right? That's where that big saying that's on Facebook or Twitter or all these different places where they say, if Jesus came to your church, would they even let him in? And that quote right there is what made me want to make this video. Because I was listening to something else, and the guy brought up the reason for us as Catholics. Let me see, I got to find a better way to say this because I'm going to give it away if I say that. So let's put it this way, right? When Moses was communicating with God so much, right? When he finally came down, his face was shining bright, right? So he had to wear a veil, right? Because he blinded everybody. And I heard someone say, right, you know, it's kind of that same concept of why God doesn't give us everything we want in life, right? Because we wouldn't be able to handle it. We wouldn't be able to handle knowing everything in our life. Right? We wouldn't be able to handle it. That's why a lot of people, when they become rich, they win the lottery, right? They either die or they blow all their money right away. They might die off a drug overdose, or they just blow all their money and then they're poor within 5 years anyways, because they weren't mentally able to handle that much responsibility. Okay? So the same thing is with God. He's never going to truly present us, and this is what he said, I wouldn't be able to handle seeing God. You know, if you saw God, it would be so amazing that you wouldn't even be able to comprehend it. Our heads would probably explode. That's why we say even right now we truly can't comprehend God. The reason why science will never find God, because God is not even a part of this material world really, right? He's outside of it, except for one way. And this is why I came up with the concept of why the only way God will be allowed into your church, right? And it's because the Catholic Church has it. It's the presence of the body and blood of Christ within the Eucharist. That's the only way God is allowed into a church. First of all, because if he walked in just as Jesus did, he would be most likely persecuted, just like he was back in his ministry, right? We'd be like, whatever, this is not God, right? This is not God. And even if he was, it would be like the road to Damascus, where the disciples couldn't even recognize him, right? So if he was there in front of us, we wouldn't even be able to recognize him. And if he was to come to our door, we wouldn't even let him in, because we would probably think he was some crazy man. But that's why he gave us the Eucharist, his body and blood, because he is present within the church. Body, soul, blood, divinity, all that right there in the Eucharist. We've got to understand that. That is the only way that God is allowed within our church. Because if he was physically present, we would most likely not let him in. So he humbled himself, put himself into bread and wine so that he could be present with us. And we would not either be scared or we would not say, no, you can't come in. You're not God, like he was treated before. So that is the only way he is actually able to enter into the church without persecution, without scaring us, is under the appearance of bread and wine. So I hope this helps. I hope it's food for thought. Don't forget to follow us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Google+. The podcast is out there, True Results 303. You came here for spiritual advice. You came here out of curiosity of spirituality, Christianity, Catholicism. I'm grateful. But remember, this is a fitness channel as well. We've got exercises, anything you could think of, nutrition, fitness, anything. So, the body is the temple. We must learn to treat it right. So, if you're not there, I hope that you will explore that portion of the channel, and I can also help you grow physically and keep your body healthy. So once again, I hope this helps. Don't forget to follow. Once again, social media, Facebook, Twitter, Google+. The podcast is out there, True Results 303. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Tell everybody about it. Share it like these videos.